Hello, I'm Lisa Sabaniak, and today I'd like to talk about the oneness of us all. I speak a lot about energy vibration and about how we are all one because that's what I have learned on my spiritual journey, and I know that as my personal truth. And it also goes in with science. I am a scientist, actually, was teaching science in secondary school and continue to teach or tutor online and all the way up through A-level biology. And so I always find that fascinating when science backs up what I have learned and discovered in my spiritual life. So let's just rewind that for 1 second. So every single thing on this planet, whether it's inanimate or whether or not, is made of particles. And those particles are vibrating with energy. And that energy is all the same. We cannot create or destroy energy, but we can transform it. So when you are looking at your computer screen or your phone screen right now, you're looking at light energy and hearing sound energy, and also probably feeling a little bit of heat energy that's being released from that device. But they were all transformed from electrical energy, which was transformed from kinetic energy, which was transformed from chemical energy. You kind of get the idea here. It's one energy, it's just transformed. And we are made of particles. We are no different from anything else in terms of our particles. Sure, the types and the numbers of particles may be different, but we're still vibrating with energy as well because we're made of particles. And that is the same energy as what is in all the other particles, whether we're talking about blades of grass, whether we're talking about soil, the clothes that are on our backs, our jewelry, the screens we're looking at. Absolutely everything is vibrating with energy. That's what I mean when I start talking about how we are all one. So I do believe in my spiritual journey, I have learned and seen and grown and healed in so many different ways. And so I do believe that at the source of it, we all come from that same source of energy. So while we are in different bodies and we have adopted different egos and personalities, right, personas that make us feel like we are separate from each other and physically do separate us, of course, being in different bodies, we are actually one. We are the same energy. And the reason why I bring this up is because there are always difficulties that are going on around the world, right? There's always something that our heart goes out for, where we are empathizing and maybe allowing ourselves to really get kind of pulled in by that event. And there's nothing greater going on right now that is a great example of this than the Russian Ukrainian crisis. And so I like to remind myself, and I thought maybe this is a great opportunity for me to make a video to remind you that we are all one, because it might just help you in the same way that it helps me in dealing with tragedy such as this. So, whether it's dealing with something that is so large scale, like this crisis in Ukraine, or whether it's just dealing with something in our regular everyday lives, right? Maybe there is a neighbor or a colleague at work or your boss or a friend, family member, whatever that has maybe behaved in a way that has got your back up, that you are not comfortable with, right? Whatever that is, the same principle applies here. When I look at the actions of one individual or a small group of people, like in the case of Putin and his surrounding comrades, I remind myself that there actually is no difference energetically between me and him, other than the frequency that we are choosing to vibrate at, how we are choosing to allow our thoughts and our feelings and our past experiences to influence our present. The other big difference that is between myself and him is the fact that I don't have control over an army, right? I don't have control over the people of Russia or any other country. But if I'm honest with myself, I know that there have been many times in my life where I have lashed out inappropriately or what I deemed as appropriate at that time. But in hindsight, I could look back and realize that really what I was doing was trying to meet a need within myself. And I was going about that in a way that really did not serve my highest good. And that's what I see him doing right now. The difference between those actions is when I did it, perhaps I hurt somebody's feelings, but I didn't murder somebody, right? I didn't have that power. And he does. But at the heart of it, he's making the same types of decisions. He is lashing out, he is trying to meet needs, and he's doing it in a way that does not serve his highest good or the highest good of the collective. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, the reason why I bring this up is because when I sit and center myself and I remind myself of the oneness of us all, and I allow myself to connect to that frequency, then it becomes very easy for me to shift my own energy, my own thoughts and emotions out of violence and into the place that I want them to be, which is peace, acceptance, understanding, unconditional love, energy that's going to be helpful rather than contributing to the issue with more violent thoughts. So I'm very similar to many other people, I'm sure, and I have had different violent thoughts towards him and what he's doing and the whole military as a whole in Russia and what they are doing. And when that happens, that's my cue to sit down and center myself, to remind myself that I am them. They are me. They are making similar choices, just in a circumstance that is very, very different. And so the outcome ends up being very, very different. But me judging and me throwing anger, whether it's my thoughts, my emotions, or my words, does not contribute positively to what's going on. Violence begets violence. So even when it's one person with that thought, that frequency, that emanates out and that affects other people. And I don't want to be part of that. I want to be affecting people positively. And so it's not an excuse of behavior by any stretch of the imagination. But what it does allow me to do is remind myself that he too has an inner child who is wounded. He too has an aspect of his ego that is wounded. And he too needs to do the deep, deep shadow work that allows you to heal those aspects to be able to move on. And an event like this highlights that. And it reminds me that I too have that work to do. And if I take the time and the effort to do that work for myself, when you heal yourself, you heal the world. So, on top of helping the people of Ukraine by donating money and clothing and being on the list to have a family come and join our home and all of the things that we are doing. I'm fundraising for family that is in Ukraine because I am actually Ukrainian. There's a lot of things that I'm doing on a physical kind of level, but on a spiritual level, I'm doing what I think is probably the most important thing that I could possibly be doing, which is keeping myself in alignment with the positive energy frequency that's going to serve the highest good of the collective. And that is not contributing to the violence, but contributing to peace and love. And that happens through awareness and understanding the fact that we are all one. I hope that that was powerful for you because it's powerful for me. And I just love to share these thoughts of mine. If you haven't already subscribed, do so below by clicking that button. And don't forget to use the icon to set it so that you are always getting notifications of when a new video pops up. Thank you so much. Bless.